Good morning, my replays. Good morning, my Tay. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. For those that are going to catch the replay, I ask that you at least hit the like button. It really helps my channel out, and I would appreciate it tremendously. I'm really sorry. I was supposed to come on last night, but I had way too many. And I said, you know what? It would be really wrong to do this live under the influence because who knows how I would present it. So I made a call myself to not do it. There's that. Hey, Blue, how you been, girl? I hope all is well in your world. I do. So, yeah, I had to put myself on ice, y'all. I said, let me not come on and say this because, like I said, I kind of been quiet when it comes to this particular party and topic over the years. But, call this my parting gift or something because I really am. Um, over this. I will say this: it couldn't be me. I will put cases on a lot of people, and that's just me. I know men and women handle things differently, but this is just how I would handle it. I think the timing of this is really, really ironic. For anybody that knows what is going on, I think her timing with the video is really crazy. I don't know who asked her for her to tell her story or why this came about now. I find that to be really weird and strange. And I do. And since I'll say names today, Desharia, I do not think is a dummy. I think she's no fool. I think that girl is extremely intelligent. And with that, I'm going to emphasize I think she's extremely intelligent. And I know that she is aware of what she does. That's just my personal opinion. Um, I think she knows what she's doing, and I think she knows how things work. I do. That's just my opinion on that. And I don't take that back. And I think she has known what she's been doing in the past. I've sat back over the years and, seen screenshots, that she was said or either videos of her, and her behavior is that of a sassy teenager, a girl that some of us have been before, where you know everything, and then to top it off, you have a mother that presents herself more so as a sister or a friend. You have a mother who also is not a good influence and who was homeless, and you were staying in a hotel. You have a mother who you felt more comfortable with, more than likely because you're smarter than her. And that's just my opinion. I think she knows how to play her mother. I think she knows how to manipulate her mother. And I think she's extremely more intelligent than her mother. And for that, being a sassy teenager, you're also able to get over on a mother that you're smarter than, or similar to the teenagers that live with the grandparents that, can sneak out the house or whatever. So I think that girl is extremely intelligent. I do. And I also believe that she's manipulative. And that's my opinion. You don't like it because it's a child. I can respect that wholeheartedly. I do. But I've never said this before out loud. And the behavior that I've seen, it just continues. And it's really sad because you have someone that can articulate very well, that is talented, and under the right guidance and directive, I think can go really, really far in life. I really do. But it's sad that her growth can potentially be stunted based on her surroundings. I do. That's my opinion. I don't think her being in the environment with her mother was the best for her. Not to say that life is not a blessing, but I don't know too many parents that aspire for their children to have children at a young age. So clearly, that was not the environment that she should have been in. It's also my opinion that a whooping of some sort took place. Absolutely, it did. The details, however, surrounding the whooping, I'm not going to question, but I can just say what I've heard with her accounts, me personally, as in me and me only. I believe that she omitted some details. And I believe that she omitted some details because she's extremely intelligent and also can be manipulative. And again, this is my opinion, not the opinion of anyone here or chatters. I don't want anyone to have blame for my opinion. And I actually don't care. I don't, because it's very sad that, good morning, Miss Kimberly. Why is this thing here? Yes, hit the like button. That would be nice. But if not, that's fine too. I just never said this, you guys, and I felt like I just needed to. A lot of times I don't give my opinion on certain things, and this is just one of those times. I think it's sad. I think that years of memories and time spent together that certainly altered now in some way their relationship. While I don't believe that it's irreversible, it's certainly tainted. I also believe it is hurtful to RH. That's just my personal opinion. This is not to down him or belittle him or clown at him, but I personally do not believe that he's happy right now. That's not my opinion. That is my opinion, and rightfully so. I wouldn't be happy either with things that are going on. And again, that's not making fun of him, because this is real life shit. And I don't think that words can hurt, actions can hurt. People betraying you that you trusted can hurt, and that's just my opinion. I think it all hurts. I think he tries to smile through it, but I think it's very hurtful. And again, rightfully so. With Desharia being intelligent, I also think that she was well aware of what happens when you hit the live button. When you hit the live button, the world sees it, as in all of your friends, as in your family, as in people that you don't even know. People, when you're walking down the street, could have potentially seen your video. She's no fool. So by doing this, you are well aware that the world is now going to hear and see this encounter, and she knows why. No one else, but you know the reason why you did that. But also on the flip side, if somebody wants someone to help someone financially, if you want them to be able to assist you financially, please note that when you make videos like this, you alter their finances. So keep that in mind. So ask yourself, do you want money? Because if so, you're certainly fucking up the bag. You know what I mean? Sorry, you guys. Had a lot to get out. So if you want money, it's videos like this that will you won't get money, because someone's going to be hard to make money if people now say, you know what, I'm not going to give this monster a dime based on your video. There's a way to do things. And if you're interested in a relationship with your father, the live button is not going to solve that. I think it was tacky. I think the mother assisted in this. And I really think this shows how a parent's influence could really help change a situation. I don't know this young lady. I'm not calling her a liar, nor am I going to call her a name. I think this is a talent wasted, and she needs to start making some decisions for herself and her child regarding what type of woman she wants to be and what type of relationship she wants to have with her father. Because if you continue down this path, who knows where you can ultimately end up. It's very, very sad. It's concerning, and nothing about it, in my opinion alone, is funny about this. As a mother, regardless of my personal relationship with a father or how the child and the father interact, I would never encourage a public um um I don't know, back and forth, if you will. I would encourage the child and their father to work things out privately. People in glass houses. People in glass houses. So, with that said, people in glass houses, there's not too many families that have not had something occur that was inappropriate that no one would want the internet to see the light of day. Whether that's the nasty uncle that people have accused of touching kids, whether it's something you and your man did or said, whether it's something that happened, whether it's a time where you had to borrow money. So I said that to say, no, no one is perfect. And these types of things between parents and fathers and daughters can occur. And I'm sure there's some things that between fathers and mothers and parents that have occurred in the lives of everyone that is throwing judgment on that you personally would not want to see the light of day. However, this did. So ask yourself, with your most embarrassing, shameful moment, would you want the internet to know that? And I think that is one of these instances where she's well aware of how this can affect her father when she decided to hit that live button. And again, the timing of this is very interesting. Me personally, I would add this to my court case. Everything that's occurring since I filed charges allegedly or whatever the case, if it is fact that someone filed contempt charges, I would be including everything that has occurred thereafter to show exactly how this is being done to me. And I would certainly now include my own child. And guess what? I'm sorry, this is going to hurt some feelings. My opinion, and my opinion only. I will sue the shit out of my child if they ever made a statement that was false. So if those details were not correct, me personally, as much as I love my daughter, and y'all know that, if she were to ever, I would make an example out of my child to show her what happens when you lie. And I would pursue that. And I would add a clause that a public statement needs to be made that you were not accurate when you made this video. That's me. I'm not telling that man to do that. I am telling you what I would do if my daughter, when she's of age, goes to the internet and makes a slanderous statement about me that is not completely factual. I would sue my child, hate it or love it. And I would love them so much afterwards and explain why I did it. That's just me. Just saying. Um, so with that being said, it's sad. I knew that probably it would come to this based on the the rate that she's been going. This was bound to happen. It really was, based on her behavior that I've seen, that I've been quiet about. And I think probably maybe a lot of people spared her. I believe it might have been one or two that, really had some things to say about her actions throughout this. But, and maybe I should have said something sooner, but I've not respected a lot of her movement. I've not encouraged it. I think it's sad. I think it's fresh, as my grandmother would say, fast tail behavior, all of that. I really do. And it's sickening to see. It's really, really sickening to see. And I think that this is someone under the right guidance could be an amazing person with a really bright future. Again, I stand on that. Well spoken, all of that. But it looks like you're heading down the direction of eyelashes and long nails. Okay? Not to say there's anything wrong with that. But for those who know, my aunties who knows, you're going down that path. That path. That path. They know that he will show them grace and they play on that, praying for everyone involved. My opinion, nobody who really wants a relationship with their father or had one would do this. Yeah, it's basically, to me, I see that as the ultimate fu, because that's basically what that did. And guess what, to be honest, since I'm keeping it hot, she's had a lot of fu moments. It's obvious that she has no respect for her father. It's also obvious that she has very minimal respect for her mother. And this is a young girl that needs guidance and directive, and is fast, in my opinion. Fast and grown. And that is my opinion. She's inserted herself in things that she should not have inserted herself into. Her mother should not have encouraged certain behavior. She's been present during some of her mom's live with her mother requesting for her to chime in or add her 2 cents. She's been allowed to make very, very grown statements online, but then we speak of God. So I don't like this for her, because this is a child that could be in a university, that could potentially go far, that can sing, that can do a lot. I think she did her mother's makeup one time. There's so many different directions that she can go to, but you are resorting to this, tearing up you and your father's relationship online. And at what point is it going to get better if things like this continues to arise? If you continue to make these types of videos, or if you want to add your 2 cents in. It's very unfortunate. It's sad. And as much as you hate him, you should not want to publicly tear him down like that. There's a way to do things. It really is. But doing it this way, it's hurtful. It's embarrassing, on top of which, to where the world has to see that. And again, I certainly think certain details you either omitted, or embellished or whatever the case. It's also my opinion that this is probably the only whooping she received in life from either parent. Or no, let me take that back. Shade, no shade, because wasn't there an other instance that's not being discussed that may or may not have occurred? These are the stories I think that you need to speak about as far as what's going on in your life. How does it feel right now to be in your situation? Or how did you feel going through this? Or how did you feel being a teenage mom? If you want to bring awareness to things, she has a story somewhere, but I feel like she's being guided or directed or being influenced to go about it in a wrong way. And that's just my opinion. I really do. I think under a different type of directive, it would be better, but this is it's sad, and there's nothing funny about it. And if you can ask people to not, I'm making this public video on a public platform for the world to see, but then on top of which I also don't want anyone to speak about it. That sounds insane within itself, because you open the door for judgment and the ridicule of the person that gave you life. I couldn't hate anyone that much. My father, the father I could hate like that is the Darnell Jones, Kamani Lateef, that just took her life. That's a father where you want to tear down, not someone like that. I don't think that this instance, that whatever happened with them, I don't think that that particular instance is worth the dismantling of the father daughter dynamic. And I don't see why people would encourage them to be at odds or encourage them to not want to resolve this privately, as opposed to lifting her up and saying, yes, monster. How about, you know what? Regardless of how I feel about him, this isn't suitable for the internet. And on the flip side of that, let's take Brianna's daughter, who's of age, 11, the really cute one. I think her name is Lauren. If Lauren made a video talking about her mother in an instance that they had, I would feel the same way. I would say, you know what? This is wrong. This little girl should not be talking about her mother online. And I wouldn't promote that. That's me, though. Everybody clearly moves differently, but I would never promote something like that. I wouldn't laugh at that. I would say, aha, good for her. I would say, this is horrible. I'm sure that mother's feelings is hurt. They need to take this off the internet. And I would feel the exact same way if it was done to the opposing party, because it should come a point in time when it's right. And when it's wrong, it is all the way wrong. And that little girl, in my opinion, little girl to me, because of age, I can't have a grown-up conversation with a little girl. So in my opinion, that little girl really needs some directive, because this, I think, is it it was already headed to this direction, and it wasn't checked before, and she will continue until it's checked or resolved in some way. She should have been checked a long time ago, because we have that point in our age when we're getting a little sassy where we do need to get checked. I remember an uncle checked me at 16 because I thought that I can get a little sassy with one of my other uncles and say something I shouldn't have said at 16. And he said, hey, who the fuck you think you talking to? Scared the hell out of me. Just the tone alone. But every now and then it should come a point in a time life where a little girl should have respect for somebody enough when they do check her. It should be a little bit of fear there. And that's not a bad fear. That's not the, oh my goodness, you're going to hurt me. That's a respect kind of fear. That fear that only the OGs and your aunties and your grandmas put inside you when you need it. Because sometimes it is needed to correct certain behaviors. It is needed. Your behavior needs correction. Now, guess what? Are there ways to correct things that some people might not agree with? Absolutely. Whatever correction needs to be done, some sort of correction in some form. Maybe his wasn't the best way, or maybe it was an attempt because something needs to occur. You can't just sit back and do nothing when you see a child that can potentially head down the wrong road. Lord have mercy. So I'm glad I got that out. Hey, Healing Heart. Hey, Anomaly. Good morning, Serenity. Hey, Sid, the crazy part, all this is we are talking about one moment in her 17 years, one time. I'm looking at this like why her mother let her go live about that. Hey, Elise D. Exactly, Healing Heart, it does. Yeah, so and that's where I'm at with it, my chatters. I definitely think this could have been a time when mom could have stepped up and said, you know what, if you ever want to repair this relationship, let's not do this on the internet. You could have had a private conversation, and guess what, do what everybody else do, record it, and if you feel like, he was acting up or wasn't being genuine, then you can release the video and we'll all watch it together and say, oh, maybe he really ain't ish. You could have went about it another way. If you wanted to do the video thing, maybe just have this private conversation with him one on one and record it. And it's something as opposed to this. And I think her mother really could have stepped in and intervened there and made it better. And I don't think it's right. And I wouldn't think it was right if somebody else's children did that either. And I wouldn't laugh at that. I wouldn't promote it. And I wouldn't say nanny, nanny, boo, boo. Because we have one shot at this. We're granted one mother and one father. That's all we get. And we are supposed to bury our parents. That's how it goes at the end of the day. So it's horrible to know that there are people walking around here with parents that have not done the unthinkable things that some of these parents have done. Come on, we've seen these stories with a lot of these fathers doing the unthinkable. So if it's not one of those situations where it's beyond repair and it's just a spat, this should not have been blown like this. It really shouldn't. And you got one and one only. And it's really horrible that you would be willing to allow your parent to leave this world with this, with this, with this, the party that they remembered from changing diapers, and when your child is so young and you watch them grow up and you think of things of how you envision their lives to be. I don't know any mother or any father that would dream of having this type of relationship with their own child unless you're completely insane. You don't dream of that for your children. You don't dream of these sorts of things. And her mother clearly could have intervened if she wanted to. Whatever happened between those two on that day, I'm sure affected her and changed her, especially because, in my personal opinion, I think this is the only spat that she's had with either parent at that time. Let me be clear there, because maybe something happened with another parent at a later time. So I'll say at that time, I think that this is possibly the only altercation that she might have had with either parent that scared her. No one likes to get yelled at, especially not by dad. Literally. My my daughter at 3 years old, what she stuck her hand in something. I don't even know what it was. I think she grabbed something that shouldn't have. That I don't know. And her dad spanked her hand with three of his fingers. Child, they both fell out. She cried. He cried. It was the biggest thing. So I don't. Men aren't walking around wanting to chastise their child. They, in fact, are the biggest punks. No shade, fellas. I love y'all, but you know what I mean. They are the biggest punks. They can't take it. Girls, we get over on our daddies. They don't like it. We can't be mad at them. I remember not speaking to my dad forever, and he was just leaving things outside my door, whether it was some food or a soup or something. They can't take it. They don't like it. When I say him and her both fell out, and I just had to let them bond for the rest of the weekend and love on each other because they were so dramatic over her crying over the three fingers he used to pop her hand, I think to get her to drop the chicken nugget or something she wasn't supposed to have. So, in my personal opinion, without even knowing Robert, I do not think that he woke up that morning and wanted to engage in anything with his child. And whatever happened, again, I don't know the details. I think it broke his heart too, because men do not like to yell at their daughters. Most men, let me say that. I'm not talking about the idiots of the world. You know those guys in the newspaper. We're not talking about them. We talk about the fathers, especially the brown ones. They can't take it. They don't like it, can't yell, child, they'll cry. Do you understand? Exactly. Deflection at its finest. So I don't believe um the biggest punks. So I don't believe that was a situation that he even took lightly, but it was a situation. But again, my opinion, I think her account of it either you omitted some details, little Miss Thing, or embellished a little bit. And that's just my personal opinion. It is. I've seen her behavior over the years. I've been quiet out of respect as if I know these people, but I don't have to. That isn't my child. But as a spectator, when someone brings something to the internet, you have every right, if you choose, to add a comment on it. And I'm really, really disappointed in the behavior I've seen with this young lady and the influence that adults have had on her and could have shaped her in another direction. Do not allow your distaste for someone to rub off or shape or affect someone else's relationship with them. It's almost as if people that she has surrounded herself before has had to intentionally, in my opinion, share negative views or thoughts about a party that they dislike, and that will, in fact, influence a young person's opinion. Similar to the person that can't stand somebody at work, so every time in the lunchroom they want to come to you and talk about Sharon's ass. You see Sharon's ass? You see Sharon's ass? Well, no, I didn't see Sharon's ass, and I happen to like Sharon. You know what I'm saying? But imagine a child always repeating or hearing something negative over time, that certainly can shape their relationship or that young person's views. Because keep in mind, certain things aren't developed not even until around the age of 25, but that's a whole nother conversation. So she still can be easily influenced. However, my opinion, I think she does know how to manipulate, and it's a very intelligent young girl that we're dealing with that is, in fact, intelligent and no fool. No fool, meaning you are well aware of the theatrics and the tears and the videos and what comes along with that. She is not naive to this, and that's my opinion. So I don't know. We've heard this story, that part, Healing Heart. We've heard this story. She shared it before. So again, my opinion, I would be in court as into why this is resurfacing again. Why are you sharing this again? What is your point? Or are we just trying to make our end of the month Facebook quotas, which again is sick to me because I always notice that certain behaviors take place mid month. So if we're doing this for a bag, listen, that money will burn. It will be your biggest mistake. The biggest mistake. So I don't know if this is just mid-month madness, and we got to run a bag up. But I do not understand while we're hearing stories that we've already heard. So you have to ask yourself the timing, why, who does it benefit, why is this now resurfacing, etc. And again, me and me alone would be in court, but I also would have been in court years ago. That's just me. I stand on that. Certain shit can be overlooked, but certain things are too disgusting and too vile that I would ever be able to turn the other cheek. Motherfuckers would quickly know I'm not the one to play with when it comes to certain matters. And I certainly would have went to court a long time ago with the craziest things that we've heard in this story. And maybe would not have been at this point had it been addressed and checked years ago. However, everybody handle their business how they see fit. I think this is what happens when you let things get out of control and sit back and do nothing. This is the end result of that. My opinion. Why are you not sharing the from her mom? It was alleged that she whooped her. Yeah, exactly. It's alleged, but that story is out there. So until she admits that or comes out and say that, I ain't giving that too much light. But like I know, Tay, we've heard that story too with that altercation. And if that is in fact true, you would have to. That is a question where it says, well, why do we not talk about one instance that should be scary and not another? So that's exactly why I would be presenting this differently, possibly in court, as into why are certain things resurfacing? Why are other things not addressed publicly? Why is it just pertaining to me? Oh, I would definitely handle my business when it comes to me and my name and my brand. That's just me. And I think that should have been done quite some time ago. And if it was done quite some time ago, we would have seen the results of that quite some time ago. So I can't believe the whole, it was handled or whatever. I think this is the end result of what happens when things aren't handled, and that's just my opinion. I do wish that young girl well. I think she's beautiful. I said this before in another live, how I thought that this was years ago, though, where I would let, and this was before she was pregnant, so I didn't know the direction her life was going, but was just looking at her age. I said, I think I could see this young lady at a great HBCU. That's just the envision I had in my mind. Maybe her pledging somewhere, going off and being great, because we also see certain times when children have a certain parent, they grow up being the exact opposite. For the kids that might have a parent that's an alcoholic or whatever, they grow up never wanting to touch a drink. So I had that envision in my mind of her, that she wouldn't be anything like her mother because of what she witnessed. That's just what I thought years ago. Her moving away, getting out of that town, being extremely successful, a business owner, maybe even writing songs. Not to say that she's still not can that she's still unable to be successful. So I want to be clear there. But right now, where she's at, whether it's her surroundings, the negativity of her mother, because let's be honest, her mother has shown that she is negative, that she can be extremely condescending, untruthful, nasty. Also, too, with the young child again. Multiple baby fathers. In my opinion, I don't believe that is the greatest influence. That's my opinion. Not to make her a bad person, I just think that she would do better and excel in another surrounding. That is a horrible situation to be in. Sierra cannot judge or laugh at anyone or any woman in their situation. So I hope she's not doing that. But it is a situation that I think if you continue in that environment, nothing good can come out of that. Just saying. Okay, Healing Hearts. Good morning, Miss Cherry. No, I would not address this situation publicly. That I wouldn't address this publicly. Let's be clear. I'm talking about court. There's no reason to address this publicly. For what? What is it going to do? No one's going to listen to it. I would address all of these matters in court. I think at this point, fuck a publicly. What is that going to do? It hasn't done anything before, so why continue to address things publicly? So yeah, I wouldn't have shit to say publicly. I would have a lot to say in court, and that's my point and my opinion only. Good morning, my Tabby. How are you? I got you, Tay. That part. Yes, Simone. Exactly. Hey, Miss Wilson. I'm sorry if you missed you. I agree. All money is not good money. I do. I do. Exactly, Tabby. I don't get it. I don't get it. And that's why I don't know. I really don't get it. Yeah, that part, healing heart. Yeah, you wouldn't get shit from me publicly at this point. I'm saying if this were me in that situation, they wouldn't get anything from me publicly, and they would just repeatedly just get documents, and we would talk about it then. I wouldn't talk about it on the internet, nothing. If they choose to, that'll just be them, but I promise you, I would just be in court, in court, in court, in court. And that's just me, because I think it spiraled out of control. And this situation with that video, and seeing her crying and hearing this story years ago, and the timing and it resurfacing, I think it was manipulative, and I think it was calculated to do that. That is my opinion. I'm not saying that is the case. So let's be clear. I feel like nowadays you have to just say opinion, 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 opinion. Because one thing that really butters my biscuits is when someone tries to present an opinion to me as fact. You can't say, "Yep, I heard. He sure did." Well, no, you can't tell me that, because you're telling me you heard as in third party. That's not a fact to me. Fact is something that I know, or that I heard, or that someone said that occurred. But my opinion, or the way that I perceive something, I'll never try to present that to you as a fact. So I'm not presenting my opinion as fact, but I am stating that I personally believe that it was calculated, and somebody else was involved. I don't know who that other party is. But I don't think that she just did this without not consulting with someone. Could be her own mother or someone, but I think someone knew that she was going to do this prior to. And again, that is my opinion. Pray for that man. They are really trying to bring him down and make him disappear. It's weird to me, but my opinion, they only want him to do what they want when he doesn't tarnish him. Yeah, that's weird to me. It's very weird. It's very weird because if you're saying, he doesn't pay money and I want money from him, what do you think occurs when someone's bag is affected due to slander and videos like this? That their money is decreased and you contributed to that. So the money that you want, please know that you contribute to that. You contribute to it. So money you're not going to be able to get. How do you kick my back in and expect me to still generate revenue if this is the only way I generate revenue? That's weird to me. That's weird behavior. So I don't know what she thought the outcome would be of this. It does nothing. Social media, at the end of the day, you know what that video did? It just gave the opinion like I am adding my 2 cents, not my business. That's all social media does, is it opens the door for people to judge. That's not therapy. That is not a resolve. That is not a fix. That's nothing. That you are literally just subjecting yourself for people to now talk about you in the situation for years to come. Years to come. You cannot you cannot make a video like this and expect no one to say anything. And that I just want it to be done. Well, then you wouldn't have said anything because this is the world wide web. People in other countries will see you in your tears and your theatrics and will look up, well, who's the father? Who's to say if someone crazy would hear this, not know the story, see a young girl crying, look into who the dad is, and now somebody wants to fight him on the damn street thinking he's out here hurting the child. This is how crazy the world is now. So you open the door for a lot of shit when you do stuff like that. That can potentially put somebody in harm's way. There's a lot of people that don't play about child abuse and things like that. So you have to be very careful with this. This is dangerous. And the real adults that she may or may not have spoken with, or if she told her mom, should have known that and said that. How do you hate somebody that fucking much? It's wrong on a lot of levels. It really is. It really, really is. And you don't even have to like that man or be a supporter of that man to say, like, well, damn, this could have been handled differently. It's gross. And again, I would feel the same way if somebody else's child did this on damn live. I would say that is horrible. This should not be here. Good morning, Rewa. So listen, to each his own. I was quiet about the behavior I've seen of her over the years out of respect. More so due to, a friend of mine. They know who they are. But listen, sorry. And I told you this personally and I'm sure but I can't get with her behavior, and I think she's well aware of all of her antics and actions, and that's my personal opinion. And I would hope that she's not in an environment where someone contributes to the manipulation. The hey, let's pick up the phone. So this what I need you to do. I need you to say, yeah, that type of shit. Keep in mind, I'm a woman too. I know how scandalous we can be. Hey, so I'm gonna ask for money and then you walk in the room and then you say, yeah. I hope you're not in like that type of situation where you could be scheming with your own mammy. Because my personal opinion, I think that's the type of mammy that would do that. That's horrible. It's horrible. It's sickening. It's embarrassing. I think that girl knows exactly what she's doing. I think that she was grown quite some time ago. I think that some things and behavior online has been extremely, extremely sassy and even condoned by her mammy. And that's the reason why you're in this situation now. Fast. And that's my opinion. That's horrible. That's horrible and has been. I've seen this coming a mile away. I just knew it was a matter of time. And in another year or 2 more years, when we at the cussing stage, it'll be even worse. I'm telling you, if it's not corrected or someone doesn't try to intervene, or maybe a real therapist, as opposed to hitting the goddamn live button. We literally live in a society where people need the validation of social media before actually going to get the fucking help inside. No one is going to fix your pain from whatever this caused you if you think so. That's insane. There was an agenda, in my opinion, for that live button to be hit. Again, it is my opinion there was an agenda for that live button to be hit, especially with the timing of the month. Deflection, maybe, perhaps, but an agenda nonetheless. And it's really sad. It is. It's sad. But we've seen this fast behavior quite some time, and a mammy that condones it. I don't think it's cute. I never did. I was just quiet about it. But that behavior from that little girl has been not cute. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Exactly, eyes of vision. That's my whole point. You literally could have, this could have been a conversation. Exactly. She also can't pick and choose when she wants to be grown. This is the problem with these kids. It's exactly said. Either if it, so are you stepping in the big girl ring? Is this what you on? Because if so, welcome to the big leagues. You know, you got to pick and choose. She's a mother herself now too. So what is it? Are we a child or we a big girl? What we doing here? Because this is what happens when you step up like this. When you step up like this, you can get dealt with like this when it comes to your parents or your behavior. When you're feeling yourself like that, I had an auntie telling me too, oh, so this what you want? Oh, you stepping up? You know what I'm saying? When you get checked. So this is what happens. If you stepping up like this, and if you want to be a big girl, then okay, let's play this game. And that's what happens with you, with your parents or your family members, when you step up in a certain light. Then let's go. You grown now, you know? So I'll treat you as such. And it's just really, really unfortunate. Exactly. So yeah, I don't know if healing is going to come of this. Hey, Nisi Poo. Hey, my Angie. I don't know if healing is going to come of this, but I know that that young lady is intelligent enough to know that healing does not come from the internet. And you hitting the live button again to, I just want to be the one to tell my story again. You done told this story. And in fact, the story that you told was a little bit more detailed before with this last story. Like how many times do we need to hear this story, child? And if it was so traumatic, what is your mammy doing? Because if you're saying the daddy don't do nothing, then what is the mammy doing about it? If it's so traumatic. Is that what that forced you into the arms of the young boy when y'all procreated this trauma? Then if so, seek help, not the fucking live button. And any mother should never, ever condone this. This could have been handled behind the scenes. Behind the scenes. This seems like one occurrence that could have been corrected, where both parties needed to be willing and able to address it together privately. Because guess what happens for adults as well? Let's be clear there. When you do not address something, this is what occurs. If you have a wound on your body and you do nothing to it, you can open yourself up to infection. I'll say that again so we're clear for whoever needs to hear this. When you have a wound and you do nothing, you open yourself to infection. So, this is what happens in these instances where we do not correct things amongst one another privately. So, maybe we can all learn valuable lessons from this. I don't know. But what I do know is I was quiet over that young lady's behavior and conduct. And it's really sad. As opposed to it being corrected, I think it's being condoned. And that's the sad part. I wish her well. I think that she is smart, far from dumb. And when I say far from dumb, I mean far. She know what she's doing. That's just my opinion. But certain things need correction. That's my opinion. That is my opinion. Good morning, Miss Edmonds. So, exactly, exactly, Serenity. You certainly was shopping not too long ago. You know, did you talk about it then when he was in North Carolina? Did you pull him to the side and say, "Daddy, I need to talk about what happened that day on January 15th"? Did you say that then? Oh no, we hit the live button. When you were in his presence, did you say, okay, I need to talk to you one on one about this because it's still bothering me and I feel like we need to talk about this, Dad. I feel like we need to fix this, Dad. I want you to know how I feel about this, Dad, and how it's affecting me my day to day and how I'm traumatized. Did you say that in his presence? Because if not, I call Cap to hit the live button. Did you say that if you received any of your Christmas gifts, if those arrived or what? I don't know. Did you say, you know what, I'm so thankful for these gifts, but as we're approaching a new year, I need to talk to you about this trauma, what happened on that day on January 11th? Did you say that then? Because if not, I call Cap and I call social media and I call numbers and views and money and horrible behavior if that wasn't done in the presence. So I don't know. I don't know. And the bruise, I thought, I don't know, I could be wrong. I thought it switched locations because what I heard the other day, I was like, I thought it was somewhere else. But again, I don't think. I don't think that she's lying as far as something didn't happen. Something certainly did. He was even honest enough to say that. So they certainly had some sort of scutter. That's clear. But as far as the details, oh yeah, they're a little hazy. They're a little cloudy. you know, as far as the chain of events and what was said, I don't know. Because in my mind, in my personal opinion, with her mouth that I've seen in communication or with getting smart with people online, I could see her say, I ain't doing shit. That's just something in my mind. Again, this is nobody has said this. I've not heard this. I'm just saying her behavior that I've seen online. I would not be surprised if that's some shit that she would say, just saying. Just saying. That part, eyes or vision. So listen, I don't know. I'm not laughing at it. I don't think it's funny, but I feel like it should have been checked quite some time ago before it got to this point, and it will continue until something is done about it. It really would, and that's just how I feel. I hope at some point her mother can remove her distaste for him and not instill that in her, because I also believe, in my opinion, that the mother will speak negatively about him in front of her. And as mothers, regardless if we're quarreling with our mates or whatever, I was raised to, we never bring that to the child. If I'm arguing with our father, we don't do that in front of them. Let's start changing some things that we might have grown up and seen. You still want to make sure that you are respecting the other parent, even if you two are not with one another. Regardless, I have an aunt and uncle that can't stand each other. When I say can't stand each other, y'all can't stand each other. Divorced, everything. But I promise you one thing: the kids never heard it. The kids never heard it. When they was with dad, he ain't never disrespect mama, and vice versa. There's still that mutual understanding. Should be that mutual understanding where it's, you know what, we got these kids. I'ma call you all sorts of nappy headed niggas behind closed doors when we talk on the phone, but I'm not gonna say that in front of our children. They are going to get to know you for you, and I'm not going to add to that. And I really think, Mammy, in my own opinion, I scratch that because I don't have to say opinion. She's made videos publicly that the child was present for and has seen herself. So that does not help the situation if you want to correct it when you have a mammy that feels negatively about the other parent. And let's be honest, this mammy has also done this with other baby fathers as well, where she publicly says this to where the children can hear this and how it's shaping children's relationships with their mates. And I don't even think the mammy is wise enough to know that your girls that you have will watch you. You are showing them how a woman interacts with a man. You are their first example. So your child gets to see this and you are shaping that. So is she going to be toxic or is she going to be something else? And that's just, again, some shit that I believe. Oh no, oh, it ain't lightning. I'm gonna get off this phone because my grandma's still up in me, child. I done seen a flash of lightning. But anyway, your children see that. So how do you think a young girl, oh, and it's rumbling, child, I will not be on this phone. And don't get me unplugging TVs. My grandmother would unplug the phone out the wall with thunder and lightning. I didn't even see this on the forecast. What the hell y'all say? What the hell? What the hell, yo? Child, anyway, how do you think that will affect her when she sees mom on the phone? Fuck you, motherfucker. Fuck. Your children are watching that. This could potentially be her interaction with men. Don't show her that. So, yeah, well, I think the child is well aware and knows what she's doing and is far from a dummy. I certainly think mom doesn't make it any better. And that is on that. So, hey, Pammy Poo. Um, yeah, that's just that. That's just that. So, listen, y'all, I wanted to add my 2 cents on that. I'm done with it. Um, for the if it's somebody, please don't come in my comments about nothing with it. Well, why are you mad? Listen, this is my opinion. I should have said this when I was covering the story. I promise you I ain't making no video about this. I'm not doing it. I think it's deliberate. I'm not doing that. But I am gonna add my opinion about it because I was quiet about it 2 years ago when I saw this and just never said anything. So I had a little bit of time. But at the end of the day, it's not my situation. I am just somebody from the outside looking in, and this is my opinion on what I saw. May you have yours and the day that you deserve. But outside of that, I'm not engaging in going back and forth, and this is just my opinion. I do wish for the situation to change. I wish for that young girl to be extremely successful, and I wish for her to also be better than her mother. I do. And that's not shade. But at the same token, I wish for her mother to change as well, and be a better person. But let's be honest, she's at a certain age. But I would love to see her successful and doing great things there too, and not on this internet carrying on and yelling at these men over things that you did and you created. So I do not want that for her, but I hope that girl really does. And this needs to be fixed at some point in time, because what you don't want to do is have somebody leave this earth with this type of pain and unresolved. It's not good. And in closing, the internet is not your friend and never will be. It's cold out here. It's wicked. People just want to come and watch the shit show and talk about it and judge you. But at the end of the day, they don't give a fuck about you. That's for anybody. My black ass too. I can come up here crying right now. Will I have some people that is going to be like, oh my goodness, I'm really concerned? Yeah, a few. But the majority, the way that this world is set up, no one cares, y'all. So think about that the next time you decide to hit the live button and ruin a relationship that you might not ever be able to get back. Whether it's your man, whether it's your daddy, whether it's your sister, whether it's your best friend, or whatever the case may be, ask yourself, is this live button or is this post on social media worth this relationship? And if it is, rock out with your motherfucking cock out. But if not, think about it and stop using social media irresponsibly. So, on that note, I love y'all. I appreciate the support. Truly, I do. For those that catch the replay, I really just ask that you hit the live button. Y'all be careful out here, y'all. Protect your energy and watch your intake, because it certainly affects your outtake. And I think I've been saying that for years as well. And I think that this little girl has intook too much that she's witnessed from her mammy, and that might be coming out in her outtake. And that's my opinion. I love y'all. And I see y'all out here in these streets. Appreciate y'all chiming in today. Serenity Speaks, Healing Hearts, Eyes of Vision, my Pammy Pool, my Angie Wangie, my mom, my Tay Bay. I love to love you, Miss Annette, Tabby Boo, Miss Edmond, Snooky, Miss Rewa, anyone else that I missed. I was just scrolling to acknowledge some comments. I appreciate y'all interaction. Later, boos.